So I would say before you're going into sexual fantasy life, before you're going into sexual failure, before you're going into sexual fantasies or inhibitions, it's that sense of like each partner should know the four S's of
Mm,
their other partner.
mm,
Like, where were you seen? Where were you not seen?
mm.
What was a form of soothing for you? So, some people found soothing through pornography. Some people found soothing through getting a 1500 on their SAT and being very driven in their life. So all of us are navigating the world through seen, safe, soothe, secure. So what helps you feel secure
Mm,
late in the evening? It could have been
mm,
porn. It could have been grades. It could have been being a golden child. So
Yeah.
all of us have to
mm.
grapple with our four S's. So before I disclosed my sexual fantasy life and porn history to Heather, that was part of, she needed to know my family of origin. She needed to know my relationship with my mom. She needed to know just the ways that food was, in many ways, the first escape hatch for me.
Mm,
And she needed to know my self contempt. And part of what I would say is, we are driven towards unhealthy behaviors not because they provide a relief or an escape, but far more they create irrefutable evidence that our core belief about ourselves is true. So if
Mhm.
I think that I am overweight, unwanted, full of self contempt, lo and behold, I pursue behaviors that reinforce that narrative against me. So I keep saying this notion of a long answer, but before you go into those very important, meaningful waters, each partner needs to really step into, okay, what's the scaffolding that we
yeah.
have in place? Community, friendship, other conversations, and then also what's my maturity level at
Mhm.
with regard to my window of tolerance? And if you are increasing your window of tolerance and disclosing things that aren't just highly triggering and sexual in content, then I think your relationship is in a really good place to be able to continue to trust one another more and more with that process of disclosure because it, the bedroom is a very noisy room.
Mm,
So true. Jay, that was phenomenal.
so good.
I might need to listen to that like three times back to really grab everything you said in there. So that's just, your brain is like on hyper speed. And I'm like, oh man, this is phenomenal stuff. Jay, I love what you're talking about because again, I think so many people, including us, we jump to those desires again, right? Being full of shame or can I tell somebody this? How much tolerance do we have in our relationship to uncover these things? But I think when we approach it with this curiosity piece, it's less of, okay, we have to make a decision afterward, and I can just simply create space to understand it, just to
Mm-hmm.
interview. You talked before, like interviewing your lust, right? And I think like that's what I hear you saying over and over again in different ways. And I think it's phenomenal because we can't say it, can't be overstated. And that is this like, what are those core beliefs? What's that narrative that we've been listening to? Because I do think that a lot of times we jump to it being an escape or a coping mechanism, a survival tactic. And instead, what you're saying is understand these core beliefs for maybe a listener who's like, wow, this is great. This is a lot. I don't even know what that means.